Hey guys, back again for another DCAU movie review. And I wanted to mention before I get started that if y'all have any thoughts on any of the specific things I'm saying, or just in general, to very much feel free to just swipe up, just leave me a comment or something. It'll help me make these a bit different if they need to be. Or mention more specific things, or I don't get everything right. I might have not understood something. So yeah, just feel free to do that. Anyway, film we're going over today. Oh my god, Leon. Film we're going over today, Batman versus Robin. So before we really get into the plot, it's very important to establish which Robin this is to those of you who might not be as familiar with the different Robins. This one is Damian Wayne, as in Bruce Wayne, as in the son of Batman. Yes, he's actually Batman's son, not just like a ward or like an adopted kid. This is relation by blood, but he wasn't raised by Batman. He was raised by these super assassin ninjas out in the fucking mountains. And this is where we get Damian's big character flaw and his main strife we see in all these films, which is him struggling to not kill people and to try to understand how justice doesn't require killing every fucking nobody. The film begins with Damian Wayne, Robin, in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, in his quest to eradicate crime. Therefore, he has immediately committed a crime, Grand Theft Auto, because he's stolen the Batmobile to sneak off and pursue a lead. He's looking for a bunch of missing kids in a factory, and fortunately, or unfortunately, I guess it's fortunately, but unfortunate happens, he does find them. They were abducted, that's unfortunate, by the doll maker, who has mutilated them and kind of made them look like dolls. Man, that's really dark. Who played him? Oh, Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah, that's fitting. Robin fights him and fights a bunch of the weird brainwashed doll kids. And he's like, boom, pow. But he's really small, so he's more like, boom, pow. With a little sword. I think he won it at a fair. That's in the Teen Titans movie. We'll get to that. He beats the doll maker. He's got him down. He's about to kill him. But he doesn't because, he's like, justice, not vengeance, just like Batman told me. I don't like it. I want to kill the dude. And the dude's like, no, you do not understand. I love these kids. I love the kids. And Damian's like, literally, oh my god, please, stop making this really hard to not kill you. Please. Thank you. But fortunately, a random fucker shows up out of the woods and rips the dude's heart out and then books it. Batman shows up in the nick of time to be an asshole and takes Damian back home, and he's like, don't do that. I think you killed him. And Damian's like, Batman, we've been through this. Batman's like, but I don't I'm an asshole in this film. And Damian's like, no, I'm the asshole in this film. I'm the asshole in every film. And the DCAU is like, no, Damian, you're relatable now. And I'm like, is he relatable? I guess he is. You're setting it up for him to be relatable, but I'm pretty sure he's just a killing machine. I feel like he's as relatable as Rambo, but Rambo's kind of relatable, but he's also just a killing machine, so do you really relate with him? I don't know, fuck it. This film does a lot of jumping around in time, and I don't just mean in flashbacks. So it's kind of confusing consistency to watch, let alone for me to summarize. So just realize that things are suddenly gonna happen the way I'm describing it, and I swear to God, half the time that is kind of the way it happens. The other half, we get really boring transitions, and who gives a shit? So anyway, flash forward a bit. Batman's having dinner with some fucking girlfriend, but she's so obviously gonna die in Act 3. Oh my god, I have never seen a more dead character living on the screen. But forget about that right now, because Damian's trying to sneak out, but he forgot his dad is Batman. Stupid. Oh, my dad's the best detective ever, so now he's grounded. But don't worry, Batman got the coolest babysitter ever for Damian while he goes out and fights crime. Nightwing, the first Robin, Dick Grayson. So they fight and they train for a bit, and Damian proves to be pretty fucking capable of holding his own against Nightwing, who, you know, like, Nightwing's cool shit, man. But Damian does pretty well, which is cool to watch. Who gives a shit about interesting character development, though? The plot hasn't started, so Batman decides, I have to go start the plot, and does so in a very, very fast fashion, after a flashback. And he's like, yeah, I'll go fight these vampire dudes. They regenerate. Let me check the name of the movie. Yeah, it's Batman versus Robin. Regenerating vampires in Batman versus Robin. Yeah, I don't see the regenerating vampires in the name of that film, but guess I'm the asshole. So Batman fights the vampires for a little bit. He defeats them, but nearly dies because they keep coming back. But I think their like time ran out or something, and the timer went off and they had to like go home. Leon, I'm trying to like pet you and shit. Okay. But meanwhile, Damian snuck out again, which made me check the time on the movie, and I was like, oh, he's doing this again. Okay, this is really interesting. And he runs into this dude named Talon, who's kind of dressed like an owl. Oh, look at that cute boy. And this Talon, it's the same mystery figure from before. Long story short, Talon tells the kid, killing good, Batman, good but lame, because killing good and kill. Damian's like, oh dude, that is the thing I like to do. Leon, if you bite me again, you are off this set, mister. I apologize for my co-host's rude behavior. He's trying to sabotage my filming crew, which is my computer. Meanwhile, while this is happening, maybe the next day, I truly do not know. Bruce Wayne, as Bruce Wayne, not as Batman, is abducted by the Court of Owls. By mysterious figures. And he wakes up and it's the Illuminati. The Court of Owls, yes. And they're like, Bruce Wayne, do you wish to join our Illuminati Gotham Country Club? It's for rich people, like other country clubs, but this one maybe kills people. Bruce Wayne says, yes, I am also rich and would fit into this country club, so maybe. And the Court of Owls is like, And Batman leaves behind a tracker before they knock him unconscious, and he wakes up some fucking where. Next thing we see, Court of Owls is working on regenerating warriors who are definitely not just science vampires, because that would be dumb. But this film is called Batman vs. Robin, and we haven't seen that fucker in like 15 minutes, so now we see Damian, who has met up with his new cool dad, Talon, before Batman finds them. Talon runs off, and Damian makes the really poor decision of fighting Batman. Yeah, he does. Batman obviously holds back, but Damian starts laying it on thick. So Batman does have to actually start fighting back a little bit. This ends with them both falling through a skylight, and Batman, in a really nice show of his care for the kid, as they fall through, he does grab Damian and kind of protects him from the fall, which renders him basically unconscious, and Damian is able to escape. Once he recovers, Batman follows the tracker he placed inside the Court of Owls, and does locate them, but this time he's Batman. He's not Bruce Wayne, so he can actually, fucking do some shit and not have it be really obvious that he's Batman. Leon. Jesus, you made me lose my spot. But they gas him, and leave him passed out somewhere yet again. And the gas really sucks. Not because it does anything in the actual plot, but because it means that we as an audience are forced to watch another flashback, which is wholly inconsequential and adds nothing to the film. I'll get into that later. But yeah, this whole sequence does nothing. Next thing we see, Damian's with Talon again, and Talon is leading him into the Court of Owls with the intent of having the kid join up. However, they ask that he removes his mask. Now, I know I call him Damian Wayne all the time because the movies do, and, you know, that's just easier. But, you know, he's Robin. He's dressed up as Robin. No one knows that he's Damian Wayne except for Batman, including Talon. So, removing his mask, kind of a big deal. And Robin won't do it for a bit, and the Court of Owls is like, this kid sucks. What the fuck, Talon? And Talon's like, no, I swear he's cool. Like, this, I swear he's not a narc. And he's like, Robin, you're making me look like an idiot. And Robin's like, oh! And he takes off his mask, and Court of Owls is like, oh shit, is that Damian Wayne? That means Batman is the Bruce Wayne. And Damian's like, ah, shit. The leader of the Cult of Owls, who I haven't brought up until now because it's only important until now, but they don't look any different, it's just one person talking for all of them, tells Talon to kill the fucker. And Talon's like, ooh, I don't, but what if I kill you? What if I kill you instead? And he starts massacring all the fucking owl people, and it's great. Talon works his way through all the lesser rich people, and makes it to the leader of the Court of Owls, who they then reveal was the lady that Bruce Wayne was dating at the beginning of the film. Okay. And then he kills her. Oh, also, she was also Talon's girlfriend. It doesn't matter. So she's dead now, but now Talon's in control of all those super soldier vampire dudes. Talon's like, I'm gonna go kill Batman, because, you know what, that's what my day needs. My day just needs to get significantly worse.
Ooh, we're in the climax, baby. Ooh, the climax. Big ol' fight. This deserves a drink. A drink of the special climax.
I'm not gonna say the special climax juice, but here's one for Batman. Fuck me, dude. The Bird Claw Man leads his assault on the Wayne Manor with his group of regenerating super ninja vampires. It established this a little bit earlier. I didn't bring it up, but basically the way the regeneration works is they're trying to achieve immortality. They're immortal, and they can regenerate like any wounds, and they're unkillable for a select amount of time. I believe this batch is like 24 hours. So you're like invincible, and you're immortal technically for like 24 hours. Like by circumstance immortal. Batman and Nightwing fight their hardest, fending off this relentless assault. Batman going something. I wasn't there. I wasn't Batman, but I think it was along the lines of boom pow. And I could be misremembering, but I'm fairly certain that Nightwing was like boom pow. And they're doing all right, but you know, they're getting tired and they're getting pushed back. So they get pushed all the way back to the Batcave. There's Leon, my unruly co-host. And so Batman's like, you know what? Let's break out the big guns. And he gets a mech suit. I know, Leon. A mech suit. But wanting to be consistent, the writers of this film make sure that nothing anyone does is of any consequence at all throughout its plot. So the mech suit, I don't even know what happens to it. I was watching this like 2 days ago, and I could not tell you what the mech suit accomplishes. But it's not there in the end because Talon is fighting Batman one-on-one. Batman's real ragged, and Talon's like, he hasn't even been doing the assault. He's been, fucking vampire regenerator ninjas. So, Talon's top of his game, Batman real worn out, puts up a good fight, but Talon gets the better of him, and he's maybe about to kill Batman, but Damian shows up and saves the day, and actually puts the fight to Talon. Talon's defeated and is a little whiny bitch, so he like takes Damian's sigh and goes like, "Ugh," and kills himself. And I'm like, wow, what a little fucking bastard. With the threat over and the plot finished, finally character development can happen. As Damian realizes, I've had people telling me who to be my whole life. I want to go and figure out who the fuck I am. And for once, Batman actually understands him. And he's like, you know, I know this place in the Himalayas where I trained with some monks. You could go there. And Damian's like, shut up. Maybe. And that's it. That's the end of the film. And holy shit, that was a lot. Sorry, the plot synopsis was so long, but it's a lot of shit that happens. And yet at the same time, very little actually happens. It's kind of just the same, like, few events repeating over and over in different ways. So, on to my thoughts about the film. I know I joked a lot about character development not really happening or things not really being of consequence, but the development we get of Damian's character, or at least the persona of Damian's character we see in this film, is very well done. They put to screen the struggle that Damian is feeling of whether he's Batman's protege or Bruce Wayne's son. And, you know, that's not the most relatable issue, and yet you really feel for him here. You really feel that struggle of, wanting to be this apprentice, but also not really knowing how to be a son. And all the while, we see Batman struggling with the same thing, which is even more interesting, at least to me, seeing him struggle, like, how do I be a father and also train this kid? Should I be a father to Damian? Maybe my favorite scene with Damian in it, in any DCAU film, is when we see in this, where he's training / fighting against Nightwing, where Nightwing's more trying to train him, but Damian is just kind of fighting. Damian's bragging about, he was trained by Ra's al Ghul, who's the coolest, the League of Assassins, or whatever. And Nightwing's like, oh yeah, well, I was trained by Batman, and I'm pretty sure that Batman kicked the shit out of Ra's every time they met. And it's just funny, because you're like, oh shit, dude, he did. I think a big problem with this film, however, is representation. Now, I know I'm not necessarily the best person to be talking about that kind of issue, but it did stand out to me in that there are only 2 women in this film, and one's been dead for a very long time because it's Bruce's mother, who died, and we only see in flashbacks. So, Leon. So there's only really one woman in this film, and she's dating both the protagonist and the antagonist. I mean, I think that kind of speaks for itself. It's not great character. The twist of this film, with the leader of the Court of Owls turning out to be the one singular female in the entire movie, was just boring. And what kind of sucked about it is, I could be wrong, I could check, I'm not gonna. When they had the mask on, the leader of the Court of Owls had a different voice actor, who I'm pretty sure was a male, and, really recognizable. Had this great presence. I really enjoyed that voice actor. Takes off the mask, switches voice actor to this lady, and I'm like, 1, that twist means nothing. But 2, give me the old voice actor, damn it. I like that guy. When it comes to Talon, I wish I could talk more about it, but there's not much I have to say. He's not bad, but he's not great either. He certainly serves his role in the film as an effective foil to Damian. It's like, what would have happened if Damian went on, full killing spree? But it's not groundbreaking. He has a tragic backstory that isn't interesting. The most interesting thing about him is his costume, and that he fights not with, daggers or knives, but, weird, metal talons, which is interesting, but that's the most interesting thing about him. However, on the topic of Talon, I want to mention at least something that stood out to me that I liked, which was the scene where he decides to break with the Court of Owls when they order him to kill Damian. Now, we get established that his character is not from this upper class background, which is required for the Court of Owls. You know, it's kind of like Illuminati upper class. And them ordering him to kill Damian, who he very much sees himself in. Like, he thinks this kid is a mirror. That's kind of why he's trying so hard to integrate him into his own life and stuff like that. So his decision to break with the Court of Owls over that made a lot of sense to his character. But he then proceeds to slaughter them all. The people he's worked with the whole movie. He's been probably working with for years. The one that he knows his girlfriend is a part of. And it's like, I get it. He feels like an outcast. He like, subconsciously hates these guys. But slaughtering them all? Would he really think that would be the best option? Because he didn't kill them all, okay? He does leave some. He knows there's going to be a future problem. Like, this is kind of almost like he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to kind of give up on life now. But it just... Why didn't he just go out of town? Why didn't he just kill, like, a couple, maybe, like, a dude? Fuck talking about the Bird Claw Man. Now we're going to talk about my big problem with this film, which is the flashbacks. Oh my god, the flashbacks. The flashback of Bruce as a kid learning about the Court of Owls, and then, like, we get another one of him struggling with his parents' deaths. The Court of Owls is presented in these flashbacks as, like, these fairy tales parents tell him. They're like, it's not real. It's entirely unnecessary. Entirely unnecessary. Everything in a flashback is inconsequential. Does it add some depth? Maybe. In the way the Silmarillion does the Lord of the Rings. Is there a reason it was cut from the Lord of the Rings? Fuck yeah, there was. It's boring. I didn't bring it up much in the plot synopsis. Because I didn't need to. Overall, Batman vs. Robin was still a pretty good film. I would recommend it. But I'd also recommend skipping over any of the flashback sequences. Unless you really want to hear Kevin Conroy in the film, who is voicing Thomas Wayne in the first flashback we see. Which is, you know, Kevin Conroy. But because of all its flaws, but also because of the, you know, the few great things we get in it, and the core of this film, which is Damian's character building, which is good. The film narrowly scrapes by at a 3 out of 5. Don't want to give it a 2. Feels too low. But I think a 3 out of 5 is good enough. So anyway, I hope y'all have a good night. I might see y'all another time with another film.